Good morning. How is everybody? Tired? I heard woo and tired, so I understand that. I am Pastor Zach. I'm the lead pastor here at Point of Change. But for this series, for the next couple weeks, I'm also your host. And so, that's why I have all the nice attire on. I did not wear the tie this week. I'm sorry. I know some of you are very disappointed that I don't have a tie on. But it turns out I only have one tie. So I wasn't going to wear that 2 weeks in a row. So maybe I'll do every other. But I wanted to give you a couple updates. And so like the news that's going on at POC. And so we had a guys-girls night on Friday night. It was we had a really good time. So I had the guys were at my house and the girls were at Pastor Tyler's house. And the guys, we play video games. Like, that's just what we do. We just play video games the whole time. But it was nice out. And so we actually played basketball. We played wiffle ball. We played laser tag, like, through the entire house and the yard and all of that. So it was a good time. We did play some video games. We had 8 packages of those Kazoozle Sweet Tart ropes. And they were gone. Like, they were pretty much gone. There was half of one left, and that was it. We went through 320 pizza rolls in 3 hours. And what we do is we deep fry them, and then we batter them, and we make some garlic butter and some other Italian seasonings, and we put them on top with Parmesan cheese. So they're even more unhealthy than just regular pizza rolls. And then we had tons of pop, and it was gone too. We went through half a case of water, and then I know they went through, how many pizzas did you guys go through?
We didn't eat them all, but I did cook 7 pizzas and 4 pounds of chicken.
Yes, and it was almost gone though. It was almost gone is what I've heard. And so teenagers can eat. There's their news for you, is that teenagers know how to eat. They know how to put food away. But I will say the one thing I did want to point out is that we did have more guys than they did have girls, so we won this time.
There was no competition.
So yeah, there was competition. In my mind, there was competition, and we had more guys than we had girls. So that's a challenge to all the girls, teenage girls in the room. That maybe next time you can have more than the boys. I don't think it'll happen.
I think
but
we consistently win. That's why I'm putting this out here.
No. I think the last 2 times that we had that one. But as we get going, we're going to have the woman at the well as one of our guests today. We also have a congregation member who's going to be one of our guests today. We're going to play a game. We're going to do some worship. We got a trailer for you. But first, we're going to sing. So if you want to stand and join us as we sing, the band's going to go ahead and kick us off here.
Wandering into the night, wanting a place to hide this weary soul, this bag of bones. I try with all my might, but I just can't win the fight. I'm slowly drifting, a vagabond. Just when I ran out of the road, I met a man I didn't know, and he told me that I was not alone. You picked me up, turned me around, placed my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because you healed my heart. My bridge one last time.
I lost another one. I am free. I am free. Oh, I am free.
Let's do one more.
I lost another one. I am free. I am free. Oh, I am free.
You may be seated.
All right. So we're gonna bring out our first guest, and the guest that we have that's coming out is gonna be the woman at the well. And so if you would give her a round of applause, we have Q-Cars. There we go. There she is. Hi. How are you? You probably need this to talk here. Hold on one second. There you go. Hi.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm good.
Long trip?
Yeah. I figured out how that strappy thing finally worked in the back seat of that van. I was like, what is this thing? I felt like it was going to choke me to death.
Yeah, it's called a seatbelt. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're supposed to
yeah.
keep that on, because again, you like when I'm driving you around, you're gonna give me a ticket if you don't have it on and you have no license. So
Yeah,
it's
well-
supposed to keep you in the car. Like if you get in an accident and it like fastens real good, that's why seatbelt.
Yeah, I mean, it did that. You were a good driver. You were a good driver. Got me here safe
That's
and
good.
all. So
you could tell
I
my
was
wife
good.
that would be great.
Oh, well, and I forgot to take off my hat. I forgot to take off my hat. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
Sorry,
You can
I probably
leave
got
your-
hat hair.
You
Probably got
can
hat
leave
hair.
your hat on.
My
That's
hair
fine if
look
you want to
okay.
have
My
the
hair
hat
look
on.
okay.
That's
Okay.
fine. So I like the color. I like the color in your hair. That's nice.
Thank
I
you.
like
Thank
I like
you.
the pink. Maybe I should do that. You think I should do that? I could put a little.
Yeah, you could
couple
do a little
stripes,
bit there. You
little
could do
pink.
blue. It'd go with
I
your
could do blue.
outfit.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
We could
yeah.
totally do blue strips of blue in there. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think
so.
so.
Yeah, that would be good. We'd have a good time with that. So, thank you for being here on the show, and I wanted to have
Thank
a
you for
conversation.
having me.
Just a conversation about your life. We've got this book called the Bible, and your story is in there. I didn't know if you knew that or not, but your story is published in the Bible, and it's out there for everybody and their mom to know and hear about. So
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I thought about that
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if
didn't
they,
really feel worthy to
Okay.
be in the Bible there.
Yeah. Well, so you're in there, and but tell me about your life, because again, I wasn't there. I don't know what your life is like and what life would have been like in that right there. And so if you could tell me about your life a little bit, and the
Well-
audience that we have.
Yeah, well, my life was a little complicated. I'm from Sychar, Samaria, so if you guys know where that's
How do you
from.
spell that?
It's Sycar.
Oh, okay. I would've said CY, Sychar.
Sychar, Samaria is where I'm from. And if you guys know anything about that, if you're from Samaria, people don't really like you very much. It's one of those things where they see you and they kind of know where you're from, and they kind of just put their nose up at you, and they're not real happy. They say we've got a lot of.
I was gonna say why bad? Why do people not like you?
Well, because we apparently
That's not very nice.
I know
like,
it's
why,
not
there's
very
not,
nice.
No
I'm
is
like,
there
well,
a
this is
reason
where I'm
for
from.
it? Like, does it smell bad? Like when you go down to Decatur, there's a smell, right? So when you go through Decatur, people, you're just like, whatever. Is it like it smells bad or something like that? I don't know.
No. What they say, we're full of half-breeds, apparently. We're half Jew, half Gentile, and that just is not acceptable. So if you're on the east side of the town and so forth.
So that's where people go.
You're just, you're
They just go around
Jew.
you.
They just go around
They don't
us.
even go through your town.
Nope, they don't go through our town.
They don't even hang.
They don't want to get
even-
defiled.
defiled. That's
Yes,
that's a loaded
they don't want to
word.
get defiled.
That's not
They
very
don't want
nice.
their body to just be bad
Okay.
because they came through our.
So they
our
think if they
village.
just walk through, that whatever your gunk or filth or whatever's going on in Sychar, yeah, is just gonna rub off on them. So they go around you. They avoid you. They go long ways around.
Yeah, a long way.
Okay.
I mean, they go miles. It takes miles to go around us. Miles.
Okay.
And they won't come through. They won't come through.
Okay. So we also thank you for telling us kind of like where you're from and all of that. It sounds like a lovely place. But
Hey, I was
we,
born and raised there. It's a nice
Okay.
place.
Yeah.
It's a nice
It
place.
sounds wonderful. It sounds very wonderful. But I was looking on like my social media stuff here, And come to find out, you're actually on social media. It's just, woman is what it's under, because I still don't know your name, but woman is what it's under.
That's negotiable. That's negotiable.
And so we've got woman on there. But I was looking at some of your social media posts when I was looking through here, and it was like in a relationship, and then the next one I saw was single, and then it was married, and then it went single again. And we played that game for like 5 times. I think it went back and forth. Not that I was stalking you or anything, but I was just keeping tabs. I like to know some things, and so I just happened to see it on. I was scrolling through, and I just happened to see it on there. But you want to explain that a little bit? I mean, that's a lot of going married, single, married, single, married, single. It's like a rhythm.
I was looking for something good. No, I don't know.
Okay.
I was young. I got married the first time very young, and I was, a little on the wild side. I was looking for some excitement. And so, my first husband was a little wild and kind of went from there. And, I was trying to find myself.
Okay.
And I was struggling with that.
Okay.
Obviously.
Hey, I was just asking. I'm just
Obviously.
asking. I was just asking what was up with that, because that's a little different to see the, back and forth like that. So I was just checking up on you.
Yeah, you're trying to find your significance in all kinds of places. Mine, unfortunately, was relationships, and it didn't go so well.
Okay. All right. So the well, right? Because that's where we read. Yeah. Oh, I know. We feel, yes. It's a struggle. It's a struggle out there for people. But the well. So we're at the well, and that's where we see you when we're reading about you. We see where you show up at this well. So explain, what's the well all about? What was all that about?
Well, it was Jacob's well, and yes, the gentleman said up there, very deep. It was a very, very deep well. Yes, it was. And so I was at the well to draw water because, unlike here, like you guys just go to that little faucet and you turn it on and you've got some water. Well, that wasn't how I was raised.
It's called indoor plumbing.
I know, and that's how I wasn't raised that way. So I had to go to the well every day. And, and once people kind of got to know that I've had a few husbands and all of that kind of stuff, they didn't really want me to be around them. And they kind of just shunned me. So I had to go in the middle of the day. And it was really, really hot in the middle of the day. But, they would go in the morning or later in the evening. And I kind of had to avoid people, because they were around the water well and kind of doing their little gossip thing. And I was the, conversation piece there. And so I kind of avoided that. So I'd go in the middle of the day. It was really hot in the middle of the day. But that was when I went so I could avoid all those people.
Okay. I was wondering if maybe it had something to do with the pink hair. They thought they were going to end up with pink hair, so they just whatever. Not so much. Okay.
Kind of turned them off a little bit.
Okay. All right. I'm telling you, I'm gonna put blue highlights in my hair. It's gonna happen. So it'll be a really cool thing. And so you're at the well, and then you find this guy shows up, and his name is Jesus, and we read about this interaction there, and this interaction where he shows up, you're at the well, and you start talking to him. So explain to me what happened, what it was like meeting Jesus, when you met Jesus, what that whole thing was about there.
Well, first, I was very shocked that somebody was even at the well, because around noontime, there's no one at the well. Of course, that's why I go, right? But of all people, a man is at the well.
He was a Jew.
Yes.
So he's not supposed to be there.
Yes, he was not
He's not
supposed
to be there. He's supposed to go around on the east side.
Yes, definitely he was supposed to go around
Yeah.
to avoid us. And so not only was there a man there at noon, but he was a Jew, as you said. And so I was shocked. I was like, and then he spoke to me. And I was like, okay, buddy, do you realize who you are? Like you are Jew, I'm a Samaritan, I've had 5 husbands, nobody speaks to me. Do you know who you're talking to here? Because he asked me for water. Can you believe that? Like he was going to drink after me. He knows I had 5 husbands. He was going to drink after me. He said, "Can you get me some water?" And I said,
"Did you get him water?"
I said, I just looked at him stunned. I didn't know what to do at first. I was just like, "Really? Do you know who you're asking water from?" And so I'm like, "Well, I mean, I can." But then he began a conversation with me. And he said, well,
So what was that like?
If you-
having
yeah,
that conversation
I mean-
with this random dude that wasn't supposed to be there. He's a Jew.
yes, I was just like, okay, so you want water from me? But then he begins to talk about all this crazy stuff, and I thought, I don't even know what he's talking about. He said that he could get water for me, that he would get water for me, that I would never be thirsty again. I'm like, I'm all in for that, right? Like, I don't have to come to this well anymore in the scorching hot of the day, that he can just give me this water. And I said, but you don't even have anything to draw water with. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about at that point. I'm just like, what is this living water that he's talking about?
That's a weird word to put with water. Like, water's not, like, was it going to come up out of the ground and then just be there and you just grab it, or?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I know you need to stay alive. So
I mean,
I don't know if that's
I've seen
what
a
he
lot
meant,
of movies, and they,
but-
they move water, and water comes up and does this and does that, and that's what, like, when I hear living water, I think, well, maybe it's just gonna pop up out of the ground, and you're just gonna, it's right there.
I really didn't know what he was talking about. And then he began to tell me the strangest things. He began to tell me everything about my life. He already knew I had 5 husbands.
Probably follows you on Facebook, I bet.
Yeah, he knew I had 5 husbands.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, and he began to tell me everything, and he began to talk about this living water. And then I began to tell him, well, Jacob drank from this well, and he began to talk about like where I would worship. And well, I believe in God. And, we're not allowed to go to the temple,
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to go in there.
I'm a Samaritan, and so I can't go to the temple.
You're half Gentile, so that doesn't work.
So I can't do that. So I can't serve my God.
You seem a
where I
little
want
angry, a little
to.
bitter about that.
Yeah, I am a little bit bitter about
Okay.
that.
I was just asking.
Like making, like they're better than me or something. That they get to go to the temple and worship God, and I have to just stay here, and I can't worship God.
Okay, so he shows up, offers you water, then he offers you living water. Then he talks about worship, and you're talking about Jacob's well, and he starts telling you all about your life and that you're not even on your 5th husband now, or 6th or 10th or whatever it was, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5, but
No,
yeah,
5,
hold on.
right. And he's bald and has a goatee or something is what I heard, is that he's bald and has a goatee, or I don't know. But that's the one you're working on. That's right.
Yes,
That's the one you're
I'm
working
on him.
Yeah,
I've had
he's,
5. I've had 5. So
And so what happened after that? After he has this interaction, he tells you about these things. I'm sure you were just kind of shocked or stunned, but like, where do you go from there?
But then I thought, well, for sure, as he began to tell me more and more, I thought no one can know this stuff about me, because he started to get in detail, and I was like, I don't know that. How can he know this? And I'm like, he has to be a prophet. He has to be a prophet. And then what he tells me shocks me next. He tells me, no, I'm the Messiah. I'm Christ, the one that you have been waiting for, the one that you've been hearing about. It was him, right there at noon at my well, to give me living water.
Yeah, he's just right there with you.
I didn't even know what that meant still
It's
at
like-
that moment. I was just so excited. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the man in front of me was actually Christ the Messiah. And I just left my jar and everything, and I just went running back to town.
You just overwhelmed
I just
by
was
just
overwhelmed by
joy
it
and
all.
emotion and everything, and just forgot everything.
I forgot everything, and I just went running back to town, and we were about, not quite a mile from
So
town.
you ran a mile.
So I ran.
What was
So
your
I just
time? Do you know
ran.
what your time was?
I don't know. It was probably the best time ever. It was probably the best
She
time
ran that
ever.
mile like 6 minutes
I did.
flat.
Like
just
it was
boom.
like boom. I was so excited. I could not believe it. I needed everybody to know that Jesus was at my well.
Huh.
That Jesus was there.
So
and
what did they?
I told him.
Because again, you said the people, they kind of avoided you.
Yeah.
So in my mind, what I'm picturing is that you're like moving, you're going, right, and you got your 6 minute mile, right, going, and you're getting to the end of that mile, you're coming into town, you're unless you're in really good shape, and maybe you weren't, maybe you're just like,
Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
I walked that and run that and trot that a little bit. So, I was okay.
Me,
I
if
was
I'd have
pretty
ran it,
good.
I'd have got
I was pretty
halfway.
good.
I'm like, I gotta walk. I'm not gonna make it. We played basketball with a bunch of boys over this last weekend, and I'm still sore, and that's just not normal.
Well, that's because you guys get your water like out of that faucet thing.
Yeah, I don't have to walk.
You don't have to walk to the
That's
well.
right. That's
Keep yourself
indoor
in
plumbing.
shape.
I know. I'm spoiled, I guess. But so I'm imagining you're coming flying in there. You're coming in hot, right? And the people, what did they say? They probably thought you went crazy. Well, they probably already thought you were crazy.
Well,
but
yeah. I mean, some of them, yes, their eyes, they didn't know what was going on, because I was making quite the ruckus as I was coming through town, and I was hollering and shouting, and that I had met Jesus, and they've got to come, because Jesus is at the well. And so, yes, some of them thought I was crazy, but I was making such a stir that they couldn't help but to want to come. And so a whole bunch of them then followed me back to the well. I was trying to get as many as I could to come back because I wanted them to meet Jesus.
So yeah, why though? Why people that don't like you meet a man who is part of a group of people that don't like you? So all these people don't like you. I mean, not to like offend you or be whatever with you. I'm just saying they didn't like you. A lot of people, you said no, not a lot of people liked you. And so, but you ran back and you wanted to bring them to meet this guy. Why? Why do that? Why not just stay there and be like, hey, I'm gonna have this interaction with him and that'll be that. And if they don't believe me, that's fine. But I got to meet Jesus, the Messiah, the biggest celebrity in that whole area at that point. Why?
Because I knew that Jesus changed lives. I had heard about Jesus. Yes, I knew Jesus changed lives. And I thought, if he knew all about me, he knows all about them. And that he can fix this. Like he can make this better. Mm-hmm. Like he can fix me. Because they thought I was broken.
Yeah, that living water he's talking about.
The living water. And so he could fix them too.
And so that just,
if they met him,
and
they could fix,
and you just felt, it didn't matter what they did, it didn't matter if they liked you or not like you, you had to tell them.
I had to tell them.
You had to tell them because it was such a cool thing that Jesus had just done for you. And your whole life was turned upside down. And you knew that people needed to know about that.
Yes.
I think that, again, it's such an awesome thing to think about, that here's this guy, Jesus. He's not supposed to be there. It's the middle of the day. He's a guy. He's not supposed to be getting his own water anyways. He's a Jew. He's supposed to go around the city, not through. It's almost like he knew you were going to be there, is what I mean, you know.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like he kind of set that up, and then he shows up. He has this conversation with you. He knows all about you. He sees you for who you are, and then he offers you living water. And then something in you was like, I got to tell other people about this guy. I think that's just such a cool story, and shows it talks so much about not just you and your going to tell them and bringing them back because they have to know. Because when you read in the Bible, it says like when they got back, then he had this conversation with all of them, and there was whole families were changed, their whole lives were changed. You know, we're talking generations because of that, right? And so that happens because you ran back, and even had conversations with people that you didn't necessarily really like. Maybe a couple of them, if they were
some of them were my
ex-husbands
family
were in that crowd,
and
maybe
whatever.
You know, and so
which they needed to be changed. They needed to be changed.
Yeah. But then so much about Jesus and the fact that he was willing to go to you, like he met you there. It's like he took the effort to go out of, like would have been out of his way to be there so that he could have that conversation with you and then with your town and said, here I am.
Well, and I mean, I didn't know that, like, I went through all my husbands, and I was trying to find significance in something. My heart was longing for something.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that my heart was longing for Jesus, that is the only person that could actually fill that longing that was in my heart.
Yeah, I saw when I was not stalking you, but on social media I saw a post that right here on my phone, and it said, this relationship with Jesus, right? And and that such a cool, awesome thing that happened. And so I want to just thank you for being vulnerable, for coming onto the show and telling everybody how that went down. Again, such a great story. And so what we're going to do now is, I'm not going to let you go, though, because you're going to play a game with me. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play a game. We're going to take
I heard Pastor Zach's a little competitive, I don't know about that.
I'm not that competitive. It's all right. And if I am, it runs in the family. And so it came down from the genes. I don't know where, but somewhere in there it came down through there. But we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to have another guest with us, and we're going to play a game. And so stick with us. We'll be right back in like 20 seconds.
Thank you for having me.
Give her a round of applause. We are setting up a game here, and I'm going to get this mic up here. And so this game is called True Confessions. And it's a great game. And I'm going to go over here, So you guys you're gonna see, we're gonna have this dialogue. And so what we have is these envelopes right here, okay? And each envelope, so these are, so welcome our next guest. We have Christina Steiner with us. And so she's our next guest. And we're gonna be talking here in a second. But first, we're gonna play a game. So the three of us are gonna play a game. And what it is that she's got two confessions here. Woman has got her two right here. And then I've got my two right here. And so what we did was when we put these in here, we had, one of them is a truth, one of them is a lie. All right? And so we're going to start with, we can start with me. That's fine. We'll start with me. And so they're going to tell me which one to pick. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to read it. And then they have like 30 to 60 seconds to kind of grill me on the story behind it to try to see if they can tell if it was a truth or if it was a lie. All right? And so I'm going to go first so that we can figure this out. And so go ahead. Tell me which envelope to pick, and then
He's going first. One? Yes.
one.
Okay.
One. Okay. All right. So I once backed into a car and just drove away.
What car were you driving?
It was a black Dodge Stratus.
How old were you?
I was 16.
That sounds legit.
Where were you at when you backed into the car?
You say that like you're kind of interested to see if I like this like a little different interest here than just the woman at the well.
Can I ask others questions?
I was at my job. I was 16, so I worked at Monocle's Pizza. So I backed into a car and just drove off.
Did it make any damage?
True story, I'm
to
telling
the
you, true
car?
story.
Did it make any damage to the car?
I don't know. I didn't check. I just drove off.
16.
Maybe I was 17. 17. I was 17. 17. I was 17. Black Dodge Stratus. Just backed up and took off. Didn't even look. Didn't even. I was panicking, and so I just left. I just took
tell
off.
anyone?
And no, I didn't tell a soul.
To this day?
This is to this day true confessions. This now you're hearing about my life. This is true story.
You can really keep a secret that long?
I'm telling you. You are acting like you know more about me than you should, woman. That's what I'm saying. Truth or lie?
We have to be unanimous.
You gotta decide what you think it is.
Think.
Oh, you could be different.
Oh, we
you
can
be
be different. Okay.
You can be different.
Okay.
Thank you, Higgins.
I think it's a lie.
I
it's a
also
lie.
think it's a lie.
It's a truth. Yeah. I was 17. Remember, I was 17. I was gonna take it to my grave too, but then I thought, well, it's confession time,
Fine,
right? We're confessing.
confess
So
up, yeah.
here we go. All right, who wants to go next?
Am I next?
You want to go? Which one? We want to go 1 or 2? Let's go 2.
Okay, 2.
2.
2.
My third husband was a goat farmer.
Where did he live?
He lived in Sychar
Which side of Sychar?
on the west side.
On the west side? Okay, so west side. Okay, what color was his eyes?
He had brown eyes.
Brown eyes. Hair?
He had no hair.
Facial hair?
Beard.
Beard, okay. How tall was he?
About 6 foot.
6 foot, okay. You got any questions?
You got it covered.
I was just saying, okay. What kind of goats? Like fainting goats where you scare them and they faint over?
No, not that kind of goat.
Okay.
Because we had to use them. We had to get milk.
You don't seem like the type that would like a goat farmer. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe he was I don't know. You just don't seem like a goat farmer would be your type. I don't know. Maybe. All right.
Well, yeah. I
Okay.
mean,
All right.
He
So
lived
like
down-
milk,
he
like
lived-
got goat milk? So you
yes.
drank goat milk? Was it good goat milk?
Yeah. I mean,
No?
it was good. It was
Okay.
good.
All right.
How many goats?
I don't know. He probably had like 50.
I need colors, sizes, spots,
You know,
details.
I mean, he had, well, they were black and they were white and they were spotted and they, you know, there was all kinds of goats running around.
Gosh, I don't know.
She didn't know how many goats, though.
But would you count goats? Would you count goats if you owned every goats?
farm.
Yeah, but
I
if
know
you're
how many goats
yeah, but it was his farm. And who's to say she wasn't with him for like 2 months and then was on to the next one?
This is true. This is true.
I mean, you know, he was a little boring. So, you know, I kind of moved on.
All right. I think I'm gonna go truth though. I'm gonna go truth.
I'm going false.
It's false.
I was like, no, you know, that was pretty good. She rattled off the tithe and the, you know. All right.
It was my fourth husband. I know.
Oh, okay. All right, so we made up the third. It was
By
down
the
the
time I
line
got
further.
to 4, I thought, well, maybe I just need to go with somebody typical and
Stable
normal.
job, you
Stable
know,
job,
good
stable
income. You know, a lot
whatever.
of people need goat milk in the,
And
you know, I get it.
just
All
was
right,
it was
that's
just
fine.
too boring.
That's fine.
It
That's
was just
fine.
too
Yeah,
boring.
just not a lot of excitement. All right, that's fine. To all the goat farmers, I'm so sorry. All right, I'm sure it's better now. What number?
1 or 2.
Let's do number 2.
2. All right, we're going 2.
2 it is. After submitting a Draw Me art piece from a magazine article, I was accepted into an art school in junior high.
That's really specific.
So
So either she's a really good liar.
So what junior high did you go to?
Ridgeview?
You went to Ridgeview?
I did.
Oh.
Who was your art teacher?
Miss Rathke.
Miss Rat, do we have
Rathke?
anybody in the audience went to Ridgeview
Miss
and knows?
Rathke?
Was
Knows Miss Rathke?
Hey, wait, I think there's a sibling in the audience. We may be able to
Okay.
get some answers.
Okay.
If you could just, yell or do something when we're doing it, we might know what this is.
Your
What was the
sibling
piece?
had
What did you
listen them up
draw?
For me.
So it was a bear wearing a hat.
What kind of hat? What color was the hat? What color was the bear?
So it was just a drawing. So it was a black and white drawing.
Oh, so you didn't fill it in?
No.
Okay,
it's
because you
just a
couldn't stay in the
Okay, so
lines?
just a
or?
black and white drawing.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, you could be accepted into this school."
So my older sister,
What's her name?
Chastity,
Okay.
was reading through magazines and often she'd
What
show
magazine
to
was
me.
it?
So I was in junior.
Time? We gotta have like 15 more
We gotta
seconds.
know about
There's
what
no way.
magazine.
I feel like they had a lot more time when they were grilling me than that was on there. I don't know. That's either the most specific lie I've ever heard, or it's a truth. I'm gonna go truth. I think it's truth.
Then I'm saying a lie. I'm saying a lie.
It was a lie.
What the heck? You are such a good liar.
No,
she's not.
I stressed over this. So I did submit a Draw Me, but actually it's like a, I don't know, company. They actually come and they'll talk to you, but it's really for marketing, right? They just want to get you drawn in, and then they want you
Did
to
you have to
buy
fill it
their
in?
services.
And you colored outside the lines, and then they didn't take it. Is that what
No,
happened?
they did.
Oh, they
came
did
and
take
talked
it.
to my parents, but I was very disappointed because my parents said, "Well, you can't live off bread and water, right?" So I felt like my whole art.
Although Jesus gives it to you. I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Okay. All right. Well, can you thank the woman at the well? She's gonna leave us now. So thank you for being here. You can take your confessions and go that way. We got a trailer for you to watch, so go ahead and check out this trailer, and then we're gonna have a conversation.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and here's my top 10 reasons why you should be a part of Thrive this summer. Number 10, you get to be a part of our new space. Number 9, you get to hang out with me and all of our great leaders. Number 8, we're going to be going through a science series, lots of cool experiments. Number 7, did you have breakfast? Grab something from the breakfast table. Number 6, we're going to be talking a lot about prayer and praying for different countries and people around the world. Number 5, our art room. Be creative, help us cover our walls in artwork, and participate in the crafts that we're going to have each Sunday. Number 4, worship. New songs, lights, and bubbles. Number 3, meet new kids and make friends. Number 2, come get your energy out in the gym. Number 1, join us for POC Wednesday nights all summer long. A bonus one, and we're going to have some events not at POC. Hope to see you there.
That was a great shot. She missed her calling. I think she should have been in the WNBA or something with that shot. That was How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. That was the cheesiest thing.
No, that was good.
That
She
was-
did good. Good job, Lindsay.
So yeah, check out kids. If you got kids, you know kids on Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights. We're gonna have a good time, especially Sunday mornings. They got a lot of cool things happening up there.
Agreed.
And we've had a lot of good help that have redone that upstairs. It looks great. If you haven't seen it, ask Lindsay to take you up there because it looks really good, and they're having a lot of fun up there. But we're hanging out.
We are.
We're gonna talk. And so I want to know, now that we know that you didn't pursue your art career, I want to know your life before Jesus, because we all have those moments where we meet Jesus and Jesus comes into our life, he changes our lives. But for some people, that happens when they're kids. Sometimes it's teenagers. Sometimes it's an adult, older adult. That can happen at any point. And so, what was life like before you met Jesus?
You sure you want to know?
Yes, I want to know.
So unfortunately, I did not grow up in a Christian home. I thankfully, though, had parents along the way who allowed me to go to Sunday school. So I did get to go to Sunday school, but I didn't live in a home that parents attended church with me. They'd show up for the Easter and the Christmas kids choir concert. The family Bible sat on the buffet. It held the special documents, birth certificates, those types of things. So when I was younger going to Sunday school was a thing that I had time with God on Sunday and left it there on Sunday.
Okay. And that's pretty There's a lot of people that have that.
Yep.
That have that story. That's what they grew up on.
Yep.
It was God is at church, God is here on Sundays, and this is where he leads and he stays, and that's where we keep him.
When I became a teenager, then I became 18, life circumstances and situations led me away from my home at the time. I moved back here to Bloomington, reconnected with some other family members, but at that point, I'm not attending church at all, unfortunately. I was a young adult.
Rear-ended a car, ran away, something like that.
Yeah, was not attending. It wasn't anything any of my friends at the time were doing either, right? So we were farther away from the church, which led me to a life of some bad choices, some bad decisions at the time. Unfortunately, those bad choices and decisions left me in a place of a lot of shame and a lot of guilt that happened. I really, really struggled. I wanted more. I knew that I needed something else, but I couldn't find it. I, like the woman in the well, went chasing things and relationships in life to be some fulfillment for me. Ultimately, that shame and that guilt kept me in a place. I wanted more, but I didn't know more, and I didn't know where to find it. I had some family members that attended the Nazarene First Church, so I would go with a cousin occasionally to church, and it felt good. It felt great when we would go.
There's a lot of Godbies. There's a lot of Godbies. Yeah.
But again, it was a Sunday when I would attend, so I would go through the motions, right? So there was that church piece. But I didn't find myself, I felt like they couldn't relate. They didn't know me. They didn't know my story, right? I don't live that life that they live. They wouldn't accept me.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And there's a lot of people who find themselves in that place. I've had conversations with a lot of people who just, you don't, once you know me, once you know what comes with me,
Yep.
You're not going to want me there.
If they
You're not
knew
gonna
me, knew my baggage,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
And I even had things that, like, you could, not even just internally, there were things that I wore on the outside, right? So I couldn't even hide some of those types of things. And nope, once they know, they wouldn't want me there.
Okay. Yeah. So then Jesus shows up.
Yes.
Just like the well, he just decided to be there, right? So Jesus shows up. So what was that like, that moment? But then also, what happened to your life after that?
So ultimately, I saw Jesus change the life of my father. Again, I was seeking things of the world for that ultimate fulfillment. I wasn't seeking a relationship with Christ. I didn't know what that looked like. But I saw Christ change my father's life.
Okay.
And my father would share with me this man who changed his life. And when he would talk, tears would roll down his eyes. And I remember thinking, what it is that he has, whatever that is, I want that. I need that.
Yeah.
I need that. And I began seeking. There was this opportunity that my younger sister invited me to called the Great Banquet. I went because I started seeking who this God was, right? Like, who is this? Like, I've heard bits and pieces my entire life. And just like the lady at the well, I had an opportunity that Great Banquet weekend, which is fairly similar to our encounter weekends that we have here at POC. And I was sitting out in one of our kind of free time, overlooking a body of water. How ironic, he met me at water. Sitting on a bench, and it was in that moment that God showed me he was there all along.
Yeah.
All along, in my brokenness, in my mess, everything, he was there. And I felt the love of Christ like I'd never felt before. And it was from there, the shame and the guilt he took away. I could walk in freedom.
Yeah.
I could walk in freedom.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
life-changing.
a great thing. Yeah, it is. It's a life-changing thing that happens when Jesus shows up and comes into someone's life.
Yep.
And there's just something that happens, and you can't, until someone experiences, you can try to explain it your best you can, and you can talk about it.
Yep.
But when it actually happens, it's freeing.
Yep.
And so that moment, and we always thank God for that moment, right? And everybody that has those moments should always look back and think, I am so thankful when Jesus showed up and I had that moment, right, in time. So then God shows up. What happens after that? Because it's not just the end of the story, that's just the beginning.
No, it's a process. Sanctification is ongoing,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So ultimately, he took me through this journey. He not only had showed me at the time that he was there all along, but he then showed me that he was going to be there. And so we began this walk. And ultimately, this walk began with him showing me the love that he had for me, because the things of the world were not working. They were not fulfilling me the way that he wanted to fulfill me. And then ultimately, it was me learning to love myself the way that Christ truly loved me.
That's good, yeah.
And then from that, it's then loving people, seeing people the way that Christ ultimately sees people.
Yeah, that's, and so I met you later on into that.
Yep.
And so, but what brought you to Point of Change? So how did you end up with us, which I'm so thankful for,
Thank
just
you.
so you know.
Thank you. When we were going through this journey there in the beginning, and although the freedom came of I don't have to live in that guilt and that shame happened, I began to seek a church home for the kids and I. Because we had family, the Nazarene First, we ultimately started there,
Yeah.
but we were connected to another local church here in town that we spent some years at because there was a single moms group that they had.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good churches in town. We are blessed in Bloomington Norman to have a lot of good churches in town.
Yep.
There's a lot of good people.
Yeah, well, there were some changes kind of going on at the time, and we had frequented the POC church with family because we have family that attends this church.
A lot of gobbies, like I said, there's a lot of gobbies.
And at the time, Pastor Todd had mentioned or had started a sermon series, and I wish I would remember, but at the time it was something about like friends. I don't exactly remember which one it was, but it was if God was saying at that time to kind of wait out the sermon series. I didn't know we were seeking a new church home, and so I was like, wait a minute, right? I don't want to be a church hopper. But we did, and my kids met this wonderful youth group. They started attending.
Yes.
And I loved the fact that my children loved to attend and go, and
And again, that's one of those things where the kids, it's a big thing, right? And so parents want to know their kids are being loved on, invested in, and that there's a good relationship there, because again, it takes a village to raise them,
Well, and I ultimately, because I didn't grow up in a Christian home, right? Like didn't feel equipped enough to share everything with my children. So to know that while I was learning and growing, my children were also learning and growing.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. So show up at Point of Change, and then you get connected, and then stick around, and now what do you do when you're here?
Sundays, I co-teach with Odamaris every other Sunday for our infant and toddlers.
Yep.
And then Wednesday nights, I work with Mark to oversee our huge 4th and 5th grades.
Yeah. How many kids do you usually have in that?
It depends. The maximum has been 24.
Yeah,
It was like
24.
right before Easter.
Yeah, just
And then
4th and 5th graders.
Just
That's
4th and 5th graders.
Yeah.
And then Easter week, we had a smaller group, but I had 4 new kids. So like if everyone shows up, we could have a total of 28 kids.
Yeah, which is
In
crazy.
that
Just
group.
4th and 5th grade. Yeah, that's a great thing, right?
Yeah. And of those, I also want to share, of those, I have one that is a regular attender here on Sunday.
Yep. Yeah.
One.
So you've got 23 other kids that they don't come here on Sundays.
Yep.
Parents aren't connected here. But they're coming. They're walking. They got friends that have invited them, and they're all coming and hanging out with you and Mr. Mark.
Yep, Mr. Mark.
And you guys. So what does it look like a typical Wednesday night? Because actually, no. Tell them about the prayer thing, because that was your idea that you led, and it was such a cool thing. I want people to know about that.
Because he doubted us.
I'm thinking 4th and 5th graders, right? So I'm sitting there thinking 4th and 5th graders, they're going to do a prayer thing. I'm like, if that goes over like 10 minutes, you're going to lose them. They're going to be all doing this, whatever. And so but I didn't say anything. I was like, you know what? Try it, and I hope that I'm wrong. That's one of those when you hope that you are wrong. And man, have I ever been wrong? I was wrong on that one. But talk about that, because it was really cool.
So last week he wrote a thank you, right? And he encouraged it said at the end of the thank you something about having a room for us. Yeah. So ultimately we meet here in the sanctuary because we have such a large group, and we don't have a classroom. So we decided to do prayer stations. And so I think we had 7 or 8 prayer stations. We had right here at the altar, it was where they would confess their sins. And so they would write a confession on their hand, and then they were to wipe it off, right? And the idea was that they were forgiven for those types of things, like Jesus clears those. We had a couple of prayer stations one was for burdens. So they would write a burden that they were carrying on a piece of paper. They would crumble it up, and as they were praying through it, they were putting it in a box, ultimately understanding that God's going to help carry that burden. We had a prayer station where they prayed for a place in the world. So there was a map, and they could circle a place and pray for it. We had a healing wall, so they had Band-Aids, and they would write either a name or a healing that they would need. And so they would write on that, and they would pray over it as they stick it on the wall. Over here, we had just a silent room. They were to go in and they were just to kind of sit. And the idea for them was that when we're praying, we also need to be quiet and listen. We had a couple of others, but at the end of the night, not knowing what it would look like, I didn't time it very well. And so there was one prayer station that each group didn't get to attend. So when it was time for us to go to dinner, a lot of them expressed like how upset they were that they didn't get to attend that last piece.
Yeah.
And then I would ask them, as Mr. Mark and I asked, like, what did you guys like take from? We want to know kind of how it went for them. One of the things that they enjoyed the most was the quiet room, being able to listen. And even the following week, they again asked, hey, do we get to do that again?
Yeah.
So it's something that they looked forward to.
Yeah, such a great, awesome, cool thing for 4th and 5th grade kids to learn, and the hands-on learning that of God forgives me and it's gone, right? That's such a cool and powerful thing. And the Band-Aid, I love the Band-Aid, right?
Yep.
And that heals and putting the Band-Aid on, they can see that, they can think of that, when kids think of Band-Aid, they think, oh, I gotta, you little kids, you tell them, oh, it hurts, put a Band-Aid on it, they're fine. They get a little prick, right, that's right here, and they're, it's not bleeding, nothing, they don't need a Band-Aid, but you put a Band-Aid on it, they're fine, right? Or they just want to put Band-Aids on because they think it makes them feel good. So I love the creativity there to bring that in, but the fact that, you're helping these kids meet Jesus, just like, you've talked about in your own story. And so, but you also, besides teaching on Wednesday nights, what else are you a part of? Something that we do every 6 weeks. There's a table of us that meet in a conference room back there.
Oh, sit on the board.
You sit on, yeah. She's just on the board, That's no big deal. I'm just on the leadership team.
Well,
that's
another
no big
thing
deal.
is the missions, the Nazarene missions.
Yes, I was going to say,
Yes,
that falls into that. So you're also our
yeah.
NMI president.
Yep.
So what coordinates with the
Yeah, so
the
I'm looking forward to having conversations with individuals in the church as to how we can just serve our community, serve our church, and even to look at maybe what that may look like globally or nationally.
Yeah. And that's an awesome thing. And so, we look at life before Jesus.
Yep.
Then Jesus comes in, does an awesome thing that only Jesus can do.
Amen.
The grace that comes in, and then we walk in that grace all the way through. And now, you're on the church leadership team, you're on the board, you're the NMI president, you're teaching 4th and 5th graders. You're doing all these things, you're hanging out with the little kids every other Sunday. And, you are such a awesome champion of that. You wear Jesus everywhere you go. And you want people to know that, and you want people to know that, hey, he changed my life, and he can change your life. And so I want you to know, as your lead pastor, that just, that it's so awesome to watch you lead. And it's awesome to just follow along with that because you do it well. And there's lots of people that are meeting Jesus because you want them to. Just like the story at the woman at the well. Yep. She had to go and bring the people to meet him because of what he had done in her life. And so I just want you to know that I love you to death and everything that God is doing and will do through you and your family.
It's a work in progress.
It is. It always is.
Yep.
It always is.
Yep.
But it's a cool thing to watch and watch God take somebody's life and transform it.
Yep.
And so will you thank her for being here? We are going to have, the band's going to play us some songs and we're going to worship together. And so I would tell you, lean in, stand up, enjoy this time with God and worship, and that's what we're going to do. Let me pray with you real quick. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I just thank you for today. God, I thank you for your word. God, I thank you for stories, for my story, for everyone's story here. God, I thank you for those moments in time where we come face to face with you and you change our life. And the whole entire trajectory of our life is different because of that moment. And so, God, I pray that we would lean into you, God, that we would lean into your grace every single day, knowing that it's free and that you've given it to us and that we can grow in it. And God, we just thank you I just thank you for my salvation, God, for that day that I accepted you and you changed my life forever. God, we just thank you for today. We thank you for creating fun and allowing us to experience joy and fun along with it. And so we thank you. We love you. Amen.
But now I'm singing, look how he lifted me.
morning. We're going to do one more song together for worship, but as I was sitting here looking at the songs we were going to sing, and I didn't know exactly what Christina was going to share this morning, but I think this song is so relevant. It's called Same God, and it talks about how the same God that was there for Jacob and for Moses and for Mary and David in the Bible is the same God that we serve today. And wasn't today a perfect example of that? We saw the woman at the well, and God knew. He said, pick Christina, because her story perfectly aligns with the woman at the well, that he met her at the water. He met her at her lowest. He met her when she felt that no one was going to accept her, that no one was going to be there for her. And just like he lifted that woman and used her to reach people in her city, he lifted Christina and used her to reach people in her city. If you don't think the Bible is living and accurate today, you are not paying attention. And so when we sing this song about the same God, it's not just words, it's not just pretty fluff, it's real. And so this is our last song that we're going to sing together, and I want you guys to fully lean into the God that we serve, knowing that the same God who did miracles then is the same God who's going to be doing miracles now. The same God who healed then is going to be healing now. We serve a God who is the same as he was, the same as he is, and the same as he's going to be. Amen? Let's worship together.
God of Jacob, whose love endures through generations. I know that you will keep your covenant. I'm calling on the God of Moses, the one who opened up the ocean. To do the same thing for me. Sing, oh God, my God. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, standing on your faithfulness. I'm calling on the God of Mary, whose favor rests upon the lowly. I know with you all things are possible. I'm calling on the God of David, who made a shepherd boy courageous. I may not face Goliath, but I've got my own giants. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness. You heard your children. You hear your children. You are the same God. You are the same God. You answered prayers back then, and you will answer now. You are the same God. You are the same God. You were providing. You are providing. You are the same God. You are the same God. You moved I'm standing on your faithfulness.
Never miss an opportunity to praise God for what he's doing. I know we're having a lot of fun, and God shows up in the fun. He also shows up in the moments like this. And so just know that, yes, God wants us to have fun. He created fun. But Jesus, he went to the cross, and he died for each of us in our place. And he rose again, and we just celebrated Easter. But the reason that happened was so that there would be a time in our life that we would come face to face with him. And he would do an awesome, awesome thing. Where our life